Well, firstly, what I'd like to say is thanks for the opportunity the nominating committee gave me to actually represent the board and have this opportunity. So, hence the reason I'm in front of you. I'm Alistair Macdonald. I give you a little bit of my background. I'm originally from Edinburgh. I have been in the construction industry all my life. I'm a civil engineer by background. Did my degree in Scotland. And very quickly moved into a company called W.R. Grace, specialty construction materials and chemicals for the construction industry. Worked with them for 27 years, and subsequently this year I moved into a different chemical company in North America to try something a little bit different. So I'll touch upon that as we go through, because that's one of the reasons why I'm sitting here in front of you. I believe I have the time now to afford the board in terms of the role. But just to give you a little bit of background, as I say, I'm a civil engineer by background. Basically, for the last 15 years, I've been managing global sales teams, managing diverse teams across the world, setting strategy and the direction for the groups that I've been looking after, creating long-term relationships in terms of the sales process. I've been involved in sales for 20 plus years. And really just trying to drive that in terms of sustainable growth. So those are some of the things I've done professionally. I think obviously beyond golf, I have some other interests, which is probably a good thing. My big interests beyond golf in the winter are skiing and spending time in the mountains with the family. We do that regularly. And beyond that, I find a new passion in Hawaii just a few weeks ago on vacation is scuba diving. So that may be one of my future roles. But just to give you a little bit of background in terms of me beyond my work career, etc. I actually was a swimmer when I was younger. I swam competitively, swam for Scotland, played water polo for Scotland. I think that gives me some of my passion and drive. When you're swimming 80,000 yards a week every week, you have to be fairly focused. And that's something that stayed with me. We have moved around a lot. We originally are from Scotland as a family. We moved to London. We lived in London for 10 years. All of my kids were born there. We subsequently moved to Boston in 1997, and we've basically been in the US since then. Moved to Colorado 10 years ago. This is one of the things that I have to share with you. I am actually been working on my Colorado accent for the last 10 years, so there's no need for subtitles during this video. So hopefully that works for you and you understand me. Just a little bit in terms of family. I'm married to Leslie. Been married to her for 29 years. Met her 33 years ago when we were at college together. We have 3 kids, Greg, Louise, and Ross. Greg is 26. He graduated from CSU about 4 years ago. Louise is a senior doing broadcasting media journalism at the University of Colorado. And many of you may well know Ross because he's been around here probably more than me. Ross is a freshman at the University of Colorado playing on the Division I golf program this year. So he's having fun there. Just some other snippets. We became US citizens 4 years ago, having lived in the US since 1997, and this is our home. We treat Colorado as being where we're going to be long term. We joined the country club in 2012, and we recently moved into Village last December. So we're 2 minutes from the club. We use the facility a lot. I have been members of other clubs here. I was a member of Meridian, the Ridge, the Raven at Three Peaks up in the mountains, and subsequently I was also a member of other courses in London when we lived there. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a snapshot as to who I am. Beyond loving the country club, which I think both myself, my wife and kids all do, I think we've become very quickly entrenched in the club and engaged in a lot of the things that are going on at the club. So that would be my first thing. I think we have a fairly broad connection with a wide pool of members and the staff, importantly, and I'm excited by the opportunity to be able to represent them as a board member. I actively participate, I think, in most of the golf events, a lot of the social things. We come up here and use the facilities, probably more so now that we're close by. And Leslie has recently taken up the game as well. So she's now in the 9-hole ladies group and enjoying golf. So I think we will be spending more time here. One of the other key reasons for really putting myself forward at this point is that I have the time. I had a role before where I was traveling internationally, traveling 24 weeks of the year. I no longer do that, and therefore there's a little bit of an opportunity to give back in terms of the time that we have. And we're also empty nesters with Ross having gone to college. So I believe now is the right time to be able to do that. The question related to my experience at the country club is actually I haven't had experience of being involved in committees at the country club itself. But I think if I look back over the years of experience that I've had, I probably go back to the mid-90s when we lived in London. And I was playing at a club called Ruislip Golf Club in London. I represented the board there for 3 years, during which time I was vice captain for 1 year and captain of the club for 1 year in 1994. So I was very involved in the running of the club. We were actually on a property that was owned by another company, but we were the golf club within that building. So obviously we worked with the pro staff, we worked with the members, we did a lot of work around tournaments and what type of competitions we would have for the membership. So I gained a lot of experience, I think, during that 3-year period. And there's been a big gap in terms of being able to do that with the kids at the age and stage that they were. Obviously, through my work career, I've been involved in a number of global steering committees. I'm on the leadership team for the company I represent today. And so very engaged in committee work and, coming to solutions that obviously need agreed upon to drive the direction of the business going forward, whether it be over the next 3 years or 5 years. Also, when I was in Europe, I represented my company on European standard committees. So I have a fair amount of experience of working on committees and understanding what you need to do to move things forward. On this question, I actually did some research. I reached out to a number of either current board members or board members from previous years, and also spoke with a number of committee members as well, to try to solicit some opinion. And over the last month since I've known I was running for this, that I've spoken with a lot of members to solicit some of their input. And I think the big issues obviously are well known amongst everybody. It's obviously with the green renovation program and the closing of the course next August. What can we do not only to be fiscally responsible, but also make sure that we're doing the right things and that we continue to encourage people to use the facilities during that time. I think there's a need for a multifaceted member communication in terms of how we communicate to the members of changes that are taking place, the improvements that are being done. I know that a lot of good work has been done using the website to make that happen. I think we can always improve that. Obviously, there's a long-term view in terms of the more strategic aspects of where we take the club and ultimately what we need to do to make that happen. And really, more importantly, I think, is acting as an advocate for the current membership. So there's a number of things I think that are important. I have some ideas in terms of things I think that we could bring to the club. Some of those might include some of the metrics that we use even in a business-related world around key performance indicators and report cards that could go out to show the membership what's happening and how we're measuring ourselves against those. With Ross having been a big golfer and being very entrenched in junior golf, I believe very strongly that we should have a very strong junior membership and also maybe a junior member program where we've actually got a centre of excellence and various things that can be done there. So there's many aspects I think that we touch on, and until I really became entrenched in the board, I'm not sure I would know exactly what those are, but I would certainly be very visible in terms of soliciting that feedback and listening to what people have to say. through the member surveys that have just been done, how we're going to act upon those, what we can do to continue to improve the overall experience. Well, there's a number of things, and I think if I look to my professional career first, perhaps, you know, I have a fairly broad experience on a global basis. So I'm what I would call a fairly balanced decision maker. I have a fairly worldly experience in terms of the places I live, the people I've worked with. I have led global sales organizations in the past, and you have to be used to working with either direct reports, people that are working for you, working within a matrix organization, so obviously listening to others who potentially you have to influence. That's maybe one of the biggest challenges. But certainly influencing and working with diverse groups of people and agreeing obviously what the next steps and actions would be. Strategy is obviously important. All of us in business get very involved in the strategic planning aspect, and I think within the club that would be important as well. And really liaising and working with the committees that have been set up and listening to what they have to say, and also making sure we communicate that through to the right people to action those items. So those are some of the key things, and you know, over the years I've been involved in various fundraising and voluntary type work. A lot of my voluntary type work has been related to the kids. With Ross, with his golf, with Colorado Junior Golf Association, Rocky Mountain Junior Golf Tour, given up a lot of time to support those organizations which help grow your kids and get them to where they need to be. With my daughter, was big into acting, so spent time with the Rocky Mountain Conservatory Theatre doing the same things. And then a fair amount of, you know, fundraising type activities. We did a big thing in Scotland when my mother's wife passed away a year ago, where Marie Curie is an organization that supports people at home when they're in their sort of last months. And, you know, putting money forward to an organization like that, raising funds for something that is very important. Obviously things like United Way that we've been involved in through work experiences, etc. So just to wrap up, I mean, I think, you know, we need to, as a club and as individuals, continue to question what can be done to create a better experience for all the members at the club. I think we have to continue to drive continual improvement in what we do and really shaping the future of the country club, and I'd love to be a part of that. I obviously trust that you will see me as a viable candidate for this role, and I would also add that obviously over the next month, if you had any questions, feel free to approach me. I'm up here a fair amount, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.